Gunnar is back. I have done 2 days without any updates whatsoever, and as you can see, I got a backdrop. I fixed the backdrop. It's also very cold here in Lima. In the evening, and this is an evening broadcast on Colibri Expeditions Facebook page. Right, today, what do I have for you today? I've been out birding, and I went birding to Pantanos de Villa again today. I didn't get any people actually coming with me, but tomorrow I'm going to a place called Lomas de Aucayama, and it's a Lomas. Means it's sort of a coastal hill that gets fed with humidity this time of year when it's all cold and foggy and humidity is very, very high. And you get condensation there on those lomas, and you get vegetation. And yearly, it blooms in the desert again. Yeah. So, and it's only this time of year in the winter that you get this phenomenon. So tomorrow I have 4 people signed up, and with the regulations that just came out now with how to do ecotourism or tourism in general, there is a limit on how many people you can actually have in the vehicle at one time. So we limited that to just 4 people in the van. I probably take 5, but I don't want to push it too much. So that's going to be quite interesting. I hope. Well, there is a lily quite well known for the area. It's called the Amancay, Flor de Amancay. It's all yellow, very, very beautiful yellow lily that should be blooming right now. And as the season sort of goes on, there will be other plants coming up, other lilies, other bulbs. There are a lot of annual plants that just grow every year. You get a new from seed to flower on a yearly basis when the cold air is coming in. And then you have perennial plants, and they could either be leaf deciduous or leaf falling plants, so that the leaf falls off in the very, very dry season, and they only sort of spring green during this time of year. And then after that, they will sort of more or less drop their leaves. You have a few examples of that. One example is actually the wild papaya. And so that grows in this area also. And most of the year, you just see this stalks and without any leaves whatsoever. We should probably see them flowering tomorrow. And the last thing we have there, of course, are cactus, because they can be there all year round. Yeah. And but they start blooming this time of year, so that'll be quite interesting also to see. Birding is exceptionally good. You have quite a few endemics to this area. The most famous one may be the cactus canistero, and there are a few other ones also: thick-billed miner, grayish miner, coastal miner, and there's even a subspecies of Andean tinamou in this area as well. So we'll see how it comes along tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting outing. The main reserve otherwise that we go to when we go to Lomas is to Lomas de la Chay, but since that's one of the natural, one of the reserves, sort of the system of natural reserves within Peru, it is not yet open. So we'll still have to wait for that to open. But this Lomas de Aucayama is a little bit before Lomas de la Chay, so it's about 85 kilometers or so north of Lima, and it's run by the community. So it's nice also to be able to support the community. They've had a low for a long time here now, and so we'll probably be the first group visiting there because it just opened up. Right. So I said I had been birding also at Pantanos de Villa. today I was down there and we had I had 6 Willets, which was kind of a nice record for this kind of early. I guess they probably just came down, and so they've been up to North America, turned around, and come down again. And it's usually the females that are the first of the shorebirds that return. Yeah, so they will. I don't know if it's the actual case with the willet, but it's quite common with the other birds. The males often stay behind and raise the chicks, and the females will sort of leave, at least in some species. All right. What else? And also there at Pantano Sevilla today, I counted 6 flamingos. I only saw 2 the other day when I was there, so that was nice also. Another interesting thing that I saw was this huge flow of guanay cormorants. When I arrived there was cormorants flying from the south to the north, and it was just endless, an endless stream. So I stood there counting, okay, 100, 200, 300. I got to like 4,500, and there were more birds coming, and there were more birds coming. So I left them, and I figured, okay, it'll probably be about 10,000 in all. And then I turned back another 15 minutes later, and they were still coming. So I estimated 20,000, and I got a little warning sign there on eBird saying that's a lot. But yeah, I don't know exactly how many they were, but they were a lot. And so what is happening then? Why these extreme numbers? Well, they breed and they overnight in big colonies on islands off the shore of the Peruvian coast, all along the shore, and usually on very sort of flattish islands, and they are the ones that are responsible for the guano production to say 90%, because they have these really dense, huge colonies. And in the old days, of course, they used to harvest that by almost mining the guano. Now it's a sort of a they leave the colonies for about 7-8 years, and then they harvest. And since it's very concentrated, the guano will stay there in sort of one spot. And that of course is an impact on the population. Yeah? But what happens is that they live pretty much 100% off the anchoveta. Yeah, so the anchoveta is the little anchovies-like fish, sardine-like fish, that is the main fishing product of Peru, and it's all turned in, or like 98% or so, it's turned into fish meal, and that is being fed to domestic animals all around the world. I heard somewhere that the pigs in China are dying because there is no fish meal from Peru coming in. I don't know if that's true. Someone said so, but as I understand, the fishing fleet is not working 100% fishing for anchoveta right now. That's probably good for the cormorants, and it could also be that there is a temporary stop on it, because when the anchoveta is very close to the coast, it's not permitted to fish, and there is a regulation that you should only go, I think it's 5 nautical miles out for industrial fishing. And so what happened today, when we saw these big, immense numbers of cormorants flying along the coast, they actually settled down just maybe a kilometer or so. I could see it with my binoculars where they settled down. And apparently there was a big, big school of anchoveta there. And it attracted all these several thousands, 10 to 20,000 guanay cormorants, and a lot of Peruvian boobies as well, and Inca terns, and etc. So a big spectacle to see that happening here in Lima. Right. That's about that. I have Yeah, I've been mentioning Adam Cruikshank's podcast, The Birding Life, before. And today, when I went on my run, I actually started listening to another episode that he said I should listen to. So I downloaded it onto my iPhone, and it was about again about South Africa, BirdLife South Africa. The great work they're doing both for conservation, birding promotion in general, and their guide training program. Very interesting episode, and if you have a chance, check it out. The guy that they're Adam is interviewing there is his name is uh, Andrew de Block, and he's like project manager, I think, something like that for BirdLife South Africa. Very interesting episode, so do check that out. Another blog. What happened on my run was that I had not downloaded the whole episode, so I had to cut it like in half. So I started listening to another podcast that I had downloaded, and this one I've been mentioning in previous blogs here about a book that I was reading called Sapiens, and you probably read it already because it's a New York bestseller. But that is on my Amazon page. You can check it out there, and it's on amazon.com/shop/engblom.gunner. That's amazon.com/shop/engblom.gunner. And yeah, so the first part of the series by I have to put my glasses on there. Yuval Noah Harari, an Israeli historian, and yeah, very knowledgeable man, wrote this fantastic book called *Sapiens*, and the second part, which is what's it called? Something like the Homo Deus. Yeah, so that means God, man, God. And that's more or less what the future is looking like. And he's just published a new book, which is he's going on tour now, so that's why you can probably catch him on different podcasts. And the new book is 21 lessons for the 21st century. And extremely interesting podcast. This guy is phenomenal in the knowledge that he has, both about history and philosophy, and also sort of the implications of AI, how it's going to look like in the future. So check out the podcast. And this podcast, okay, so it's on a podcast by Wisconsin in 1905. All right. But because I can read it, I know. All right. I just turned that on by mistake now. The podcast is called Expert on Expert, and the guy that runs it is called Dax Shepard. So check that out. It was a good interview, and you could tell that the interviewer had actually read up on the guy, and yeah, I enjoyed it very much. So yeah. I'm reading the Deus, Homo Deus right now. So I've just started that. I think I read 1 or 2 chapters, but it's going to be an interesting read. And according to this Shepherd guy, he said actually that he liked that part even better than the first part. So that's going to be quite interesting. All right, I must probably go to bed pretty soon because I'm up early tomorrow to go to this birding. We're starting at 7:30, which is obviously not too early for a birder, but these are beginner birders, so I didn't want to push them too hard. I'll see you here next time, maybe tomorrow or on Monday. Have a good day now. Take care. Bye.